you catch me at the border, I got visas in my name. If you come around here, I'll make them all day. I get one down in a second if you wait. I fly like paper, get high like planes. If you catch me at the border, I got visas in my name. If you come around here, I'll make them all day.
Creating Identity, the series that aims to explore how diaspora and immigrant communities create identities in the new places they inhabit. Specifically, I'll look how artists shape the communities they're members of and the communities that surround them on a daily basis. While this seemingly obligatory B-roll was filmed in New Jersey, I figured we start the journey in California with a very famous actor and comedian, and I'll let his one-man show do the introduction for you.
She do it all night. She going hard, right? She loves spotlight. She make that thing go. Drip, drop, drip, drippity drop, drip, drop. Drip, drop, drip, drippity drop.
How's everybody doing? All the ladies looking good.
I don't really talk like that. And I want to be on TV, but I don't own a TV. Speaking of TV, you know, before all these incredible shows like Orange is the New Black and Orange is the New Black, Orange is the New Black, I used to think to myself, like, what out there in TV land looks like me, you know? I'm Sri Lankan. Sri Lankan American. You know Sri Lanka, wars, tsunamis, internment camps, world-class performers.
Many adjectives I can use to describe D-Loco Kid: actor, activist, writer, comedian, performer. I decided to sit down with him just to get an idea of where he gets his inspiration. He says a lot of it began within the hip-hop community during the early 90s.
The reason why I gravitated to hip-hop so much was because I felt empowered by seeing other people of color, predominantly black people, really address the concerns that black people were dealing with, are still dealing with. Me, as a dark Sri Lankan in Hickville, USA, it felt like instead of having to lay my head down low like my father wanted, I could be loud and feel empowered and feel good about addressing what was around me.
My father was one of 12 brothers and sisters who grew up in Kandar Madam, Jaffna, Sri Lanka. He was studying to become a doctor, and he got an arranged marriage to my mother at that time. Then an opportunity came for him to come to America. He got a residency in Manhattan, and he sent for my mother and my sister, who was 2 years old at that time, to come and join him. Then 2 years later, a stud king is born in Queens, New York. And then my family moved to a hick racist town in Southern California called Lancaster. There were so many Sri Lankans there, though, that they dubbed the city Sri Lancaster. But you know immigrants, right? We like to recreate what it was like on the motherland, but here in the U.S.
In our interview, he was way more extensive about the cultural recreation of Sri Lanka within Lancaster, California.
We went to Bhajan every Friday. There were festivals in our little town, like Saraswati Puja, Navaratri, Shivaratri. And you know, you grow up in a thick-ass community like that, like that's part of you, regardless of what happens. Being out and unapologetic about it at such a young age, you can tell that like you're not necessarily wanted. And I'm not saying that anybody was telling me like, yo, you can't be a part of our community, but like there's a vibe there. There's something that, you know, the way that you are is looked.
My father also didn't let us waste time. He's like, you think you're going to play a fool? You think I came to this country for you to do that? No. You're going to study, huh? You're going to keep studying until you become a doctor, and then you're going to keep studying and keep studying until you die.
I felt like, you know, separated from the community. It's not like I didn't talk about the things that were most important to me. As a political hip hop artist, as a youngster and being a political hip hop artist, I made sure that my work was touching all aspects of my life and all aspects that were important to me, whether that was police brutality, the war in Sri Lanka, AIDS, queer issues, anything, you know. So that is also a part of my artistic journey, especially when I started going into theater. It was less about the larger issues in Sri Lanka, but more about how my Sri Lankan American, and in my case Tamil community, was around queer community members.
Growing up immigrant was hard. Growing up immigrant and queer was even harder. Growing up immigrant queer in a hick racist town that condemned queers and Hindus was
Dilo has an interesting way of bringing all sorts of issues together into humorous and entertaining anecdotes. One of these anecdotes involves Happy Days, a doll, and his sister.
And I love me some Fonzie, man. I wanted to be Fonzie. So I would take my sister's doll, which was exactly my height at 6 years old, and I would put her on the back of my motorcycle as I drove around my fantasy city. Gee, so now we're gonna go to Alpha Beta and we're gonna get milk and bread. And then we're gonna go to Gemco and get new clothes. And then we're gonna go to my RV. You know, in my RV I have everything, like a fridge, kitchen, I have a bed. And you know, we can jump on it. Okay, now we at Toys R Us because I wanted to come here instead. You want me to kiss you? Okay. Oh my God, Dilo, you're kissing my doll. Gross. I'm gonna tell Amma that you're kissing my girl doll. Kushani, please, baby, don't know. I was just playing. I didn't mean, please don't. Okay. I'm not gonna, yes, I promise I won't tell her. But stop kissing my dolls. You put your slobber all over her.
His melding of identities gets more serious, particularly when he talks about the untimely death of his sister Krishani.
What they didn't tell me was that there was such a thing called sibling grief. So I just didn't have none. I just had a lot of anger to my sister for dying. How the fuck you gonna die, motherfucker? I'm gay. How am I gonna come out now? You're supposed to be my backup, fucking traitor. Because you see, my sister was supposed to fulfill each one of my parents' dreams. She was supposed to become a doctor, get married to a successful guy, and have some kids. Instead, they got stuck with the nightmare. Because I'm not a doctor. I'm a rock star. And I'm not going to marry a successful guy. I am a successful guy. And I'm not going to have no kids with no guy. I'm going to be like that dude Jesus. Suffer the little queer children of homophobic parents, and forbid them not to come unto me, for thine is the queerdom of safe haven.
In 1999, my daughter told me she was a gay. Since then, she has further explained that not only is she a gay, she's feeling like a little boy trapped in a woman's body. We should have never left Sri Lanka.
Eventually, the conversation did lead to MIA. While Dilo has mad respect for her and what she has done, doesn't mean that he doesn't have his criticisms of the one-dimensionality of Sri Lankan struggles and Sri Lankan issues. He lists a few examples.
I'm happy that MIA is out there, especially for Tamil Sri Lankans. But I know that she almost really didn't, she couldn't give a fuck about how she was going out, you know what I'm saying? Because every single time Yalini or I have said something, so it can be pro-Tamil but anti-Tiger. It could be pro-Tamil but calling our community out on anti-queerness. It could be anti-caste shit that people are saying, you know, or feeling or thinking. Every time something come up like that, the community doesn't want to hear it or doesn't want to own it.
We will meet Yalini in a future episode of this series. But back to Dilo. He elaborates on an experience of the first-hand backlash he received after giving a performance at a concert due to his criticisms.
I did a Sangam conference and I read a piece about that, yeah, the government is killing people, and yeah, it's Sinhala nationalism. But at the same time, Tamil nationalism isn't doing good for our people either. And I got threatened and I got nasty shit said about me. And this was pre-internet trolling and all of this stuff. So the fact that all of this stuff was going down, everybody in my community is like, why'd you say what you said, first of all, and secondly, watch your back. So I can't, like, in the same way my father might be like very pro-Tamil and might have told us about like the stuff that was going on the island from when we were little, I'm gonna adopt that. Like, I think that so often I'd like to say that I am a free thinker, but a lot of my thoughts have been influenced by my parents, my mentors, my teachers, and I know who I am now and what I believe, but I don't think that very many people stop to think. I don't think that a lot of artists stop to think about what they're saying and how it could be so divisive, right? I can't separate myself from my Sri Lankan Tamil identity. In the same way I can't separate myself from my queerness, and I can't separate myself from my Hinduness, and I can't separate myself, so basically every time I did any work, it was really about like showing how all 3 or 4 things exist at the same time, even though in the larger society they contradict each other, they rub up against each other.
I walked into her house and she's cooking tofu. Krishani, please help this go smooth. Hey, Amma, I have to tell you 2 really big things and you're not gonna like it. In fact, you're gonna get nutty, you're gonna get ballistic. Then don't tell me. I have to tell you, I have to get this off my chest. I already know. Amma, what do you know? I know that you have a girlfriend. I do, Amma. Are you okay with that? Yeah. Okay, Amma, but this next thing, you are really not gonna like this. You're gonna get crazy. I already know. Amma, you don't know this, trust me. No, I know that you're planning on having surgery. Kind of, Amma. I already had the surgery. You already had? Who was with you? It was Nushi and Thambi. They were with me. Are you going to have the injections? Don't take the injections. It's not safe. Amma, it's safe for the most part. But like, let's talk about that later. Are you okay, Amma? Are you sure it's safe? Yeah, Amma, I promise. Actually, I don't know. But are you okay? Yeah. But then I got scared because I thought this is the calm before the storm, and pretty soon there's gonna be tofu flying over the fucking. So I came right around to her and I said, Amma, are you sure you're okay? I need ginger. Okay, sure. Amma, you need ginger, and you're also running low on your hot cocoa. She's a fiend. So I said, let's go to Trader Joe. We could go there and get it. So we get in the car. And I'm like, this is weird. I just came out. She's quiet. What is she thinking? Oh my God, this is so strange. What do you think? Oh, fuck. We pull up to the Trader Joe parking lot. We park the car and we get inside the Trader Joe and we find the ginger immediately. but we can't find the hot cocoa. So I'm like, I'm gonna go and ask the clerk guy, go and ask him where the hot cocoa is, okay? You know Trader Joe? Yeah, go ask him. So she goes off and asks Trader Joe, and then meanwhile, I am looking for the hot cocoa, and I do find it, but it's on the far wall, on the very lowest shelf. So I get it, and I'm looking up and down the aisles to see where Amma is, and I can't find her, and I'm like, shit, she's probably crumpled up crying somewhere. And then I'm looking, I can't find her, and then I do find her near the hot cocoa with Trader Joe, and I said, Amma, look. I got the hot cocoa already, it's all good. And she looks up at me, and she looks up at Trader Joe, and she said, oh, don't worry, he already got it for me. And I was like, Amma, you just called me he, Amma. And she said, you're confusing me.